The night shift at Harborline Research Facility always had a lonely rhythm, one that 35-year-old single dad Ethan Cole had grown used to. His mop bucket wheels echoed softly as he pushed them across the polished marble floors. The world outside slept, but he worked because 8-year-old Lily depended on him, because life had taken almost everything from him except his daughter, and because being a janitor was the only job he could find after the military. Ethan wiped a smudge off the glass wall, exhaled slowly and stretched his tired shoulders. His old navy blue janitor uniform clung damply to his skin. The building hummed with machines he didn't understand, but he understood survival, routine and responsibility. He checked his phone, a picture of Lily smiling with missing front teeth. She was asleep now at Mrs. Patel's apartment next door. He whispered to himself, "Just a few more hours, baby girl." When he turned the corner toward the research wing, he froze. A muffled scream echoed through the corridor. Ethan's heartbeat spiked. He wasn't a soldier anymore. He wasn't supposed to be near danger. But instinct slammed into him, pure, sharp, old training flickering awake inside muscle memory that never died. He moved silently, slipping behind a structural pillar. 3 men in black tactical clothing were dragging a woman, young, terrified, struggling, but they weren't struggling casually. They were dragging with purpose, with precision. Professionals. Her ID badge hung crookedly from her torn blouse, Dr. Amelia Grant. Ethan knew that name. She was the brilliant marine biologist whose research the Navy was funding. She always nodded politely when he cleaned her hallway. Gentle, soft-spoken, distant, but kind. He had never heard her raise her voice, never seen her afraid. But tonight fear shook her whole body. One man slapped duct tape across her mouth. Another checked the hallway. Ethan ducked back. He had no weapon, no backup, no right to intervene. But then he heard it, faint, trembling, Lily's voice in his mind. "Daddy, please help her." He inhaled, closed his eyes for 1 second and stepped out. "Let her go," he said, voice steady, low, dangerous. 3 heads jerked toward him. The tallest one smirked. "A janitor? Seriously?" Ethan rolled his shoulders once, cracked his neck, and walked forward at a slow, controlled pace. "What the hell are you doing?" "Get out of here," the second man barked. Ethan didn't stop walking. In the fleeting moment of silence, something inside him shifted, his calm, his old soldier self rising like a tide. The nearest man lunged at him with a punch. Ethan slipped to the side and drove his elbow into the attacker's ribs. A quick follow-through kick swept the man's legs out from under him. The man hit the floor with a choked grunt. The second attacker charged with a knife. Ethan grabbed a nearby mop handle, snapped it across his knee, and blocked the slash with the broken shaft. He twisted, sharply, sending the knife skidding across the floor. Before the man could recover, Ethan hooked the broken mop handle behind his knee and slammed him against the wall. The third man shoved Amelia aside and rushed forward. Ethan barely dodged the heavy swing. The man was stronger, heavier, but Ethan was faster. A precise knee strike to the stomach knocked the air out of him. Ethan swung the mop handle again, this time hard. The man crashed to the ground, groaning. Silence settled, heavy and trembling. Amelia stood frozen, wide-eyed, breath shaking behind the duct tape. Ethan bent down, picked up the knife from the floor, and cut the tape from her wrists and mouth. Her first breath came out in a sob. Why would you risk your life?" Ethan looked down, swallowing the adrenaline still buzzing in his veins. "Because you needed help. That's all." Her eyes softened. "You saved my life." He shook his head. "Just did what anyone should." But Amelia knew, no ordinary janitor fought like that. Security arrived minutes later, but the attackers were already unconscious. The police took statements, the facility shut down the wing, and Ethan returned to work like nothing had happened, ignoring the burning ache in his ribs. When his shift ended at dawn, he limped home, wanting nothing more than to hold Lily, but he had no idea that his life had already changed. By the next morning, news of the incident had reached the United States Navy, and someone very important was looking for him. Ethan unlocked his apartment door, the smell of burnt toast drifting out. Lily rushed toward him, wearing unicorn pajamas, her messy ponytail bouncing. "Daddy!" He scooped her up, ignoring the pain that shot through him. "You're getting bigger every day," he laughed softly. "You're getting old," she teased. He kissed her forehead. "Thanks for reminding me." He made breakfast, humming while she drew pictures at the table. For a moment everything felt normal, until the doorbell rang. a sound sharp enough to silence Lily's crayons. Ethan opened the door. Standing there was a tall man in a crisp navy uniform, medals aligned perfectly on his chest. His posture was straight, commanding. His expression unreadable. "Good morning," the man said, voice deep, authoritative. "I'm Admiral Nathan Blackwell, United States Navy." Lily's eyes widened. "Daddy, is he here about school fees?" Ethan managed a stiff smile. "Sweetheart, go finish your drawing, okay?" She nodded and skipped away. The Admiral stepped inside without waiting for permission. "You're Ethan Cole," he stated, not asking. "Yes, sir. You served in the Navy SEALs for 8 years. Honorable discharge, Silver Star, multiple classified operations, and now?" The Admiral's eyes scanned the tiny apartment. "You're a janitor." Ethan stiffened. "Life happens." The Admiral exhaled. "Dr. Amelia Grant sent her report. She said you took down 3 trained mercenaries with nothing but instinct and a mop. That true?" Ethan shrugged. "The mop broke, actually." A flicker of amusement touched the Admiral's face. Almost. Then he grew serious. "Why didn't you mention your background to the police?" "To anyone? Didn't think it mattered?" The Admiral studied him. "It matters. Dr. Grant is alive because of you. Those men were part of an international espionage ring. They weren't amateurs. You saved a national asset." Ethan looked away. "I just did what I had to." "That's exactly why I'm here." Ethan froze. The Admiral reached into his coat and pulled out an envelope, heavy, official, marked confidential. "We want to offer you a position," the Admiral said. "Not as a janitor, not as a soldier, as a specialist. High-level security, field operations, intelligence liaison, something you were born to do." Ethan's breath caught. "I'm not that man anymore," he whispered. "I have a daughter. I can't disappear on missions." "You won't," the Admiral said. "We'll build your schedule around her. You'll be home every night unless you choose otherwise. And the pay." He glanced around the cramped apartment. "You won't ever worry about her future again." Ethan gripped the back of a chair, knuckles turning white. Memories of gunfire, lost teammates, smoke-filled halls, it all flashed through him. "I walked away from that life," he said softly. "You didn't walk away," the Admiral replied. "You were pushed. You served your country and the system failed you. But yesterday proves that the world still needs you. Dr. Grant needs protection. The Navy needs men like you. And your daughter." He looked toward Lily's room. "She needs a father who no longer has to struggle." Silence settled like dust. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. He wanted safety. He wanted peace. But he also wanted purpose. A chance to be someone Lily could be proud of. Not just a man who mopped floors to survive, but someone who stood for something. He thought of Amelia's tear-filled eyes, of the mercenaries, of the moment his instincts reawakened. He finally looked up. "What exactly would I be doing?" The Admiral smiled for the first time. "Making the world safer. One mission at a time." Ethan swallowed. "Can I think about it?" The Admiral nodded. "Of course. But don't take too long. Men like you are rare." He turned to leave, then paused. "Your daughter, Lily. She said something to Dr. Grant on the phone this morning." Ethan blinked. "She did? When?" "I called Dr. Grant for follow-up." Lily answered first. "She told Amelia." He softened just slightly. "She said that her daddy is a hero." Ethan's throat tightened. After the Admiral left, Ethan closed the door and leaned his forehead against it, eyes stinging. "Daddy?" Lily peeked at him. "Who was that man?" Ethan scooped her into his arms and held her tightly. "Just someone who thinks your daddy can help people." She smiled wide. "You can help everyone, Daddy." He kissed her hair. "Maybe I can." She looked up. "Will you?" Ethan took a long breath. "Yes," he whispered. "For you, I will." And in that tiny apartment with sunlight spilling through the curtains, a new chapter of his life began. One built not on fear of the past, but on hope for the future. The janitor who saved a woman became something more. A father finding strength again. A soldier rediscovering purpose. And a hero the world didn't see coming.